Episode 12, absolutely refreshing. Love you for 10,000 years. Today, Ningxi had a dancing scene to shoot, and unlike the heavy palace costumes from yesterday, her outfit today was light and breathable. It was finally a relief. Upon entering the makeup room, Ningxi was a little surprised to find Jia Qingqing there. She had thought Jia Qingqing wouldn't show up. Previously, Jia Qingqing had auditioned for the role of the second female lead but was rejected. Instead, the director invited her to play the role of the third female, one of the virtuous concubines. Although the third female role had fewer lines compared to the second female lead and was meant to be tormented by Ningxi in the drama, it was still a significant role. Even though her manager had accepted the offer, Jia Qingqing herself was extremely displeased. She didn't even attend the opening ceremony, and there were even rumors of her wanting to quit the production. Ningxi assumed that Jia Qingqing had finally decided to show up today due to the news of significant additional investments in the project. It was a big-budget production after all. Currently, Jia Qingqing was in the makeup chair getting her makeup done. When she saw Ningxi, she immediately shot her a venomous glare. Similar to Ningxi's own background, Jia Qingqing had a wealthy father who supported her. As a result, she had been arrogant and unlikable on set, which led to a poor reputation. However, her powerful PR team had successfully portrayed her as a candid and straightforward celebrity, labeling her as the #1 beauty in the entertainment industry. Therefore, Jia Qingqing naturally loathed Ningxi, who had taken her role and her spotlight. "Oh, isn't this our #1 beauty in the entertainment industry? With so many sponsors backing you, why are you squeezing into the same makeup room with us small actors?" Jia Qingqing mocked, her expression dripping with malice. Ningxi remained calm and sat down in a chair, completely unaffected. She began to read her script, seemingly unaware of the comments. One of the makeup artists couldn't stand the situation and coughed lightly, saying, "Ningxi is wearing earphones. She probably didn't hear you." Jia Qingqing only noticed the small white earphones Ningxi had in her ears at this point. She couldn't help but feel like she had just thrown a punch at cotton. This titch. Who knows if she really didn't hear or if she's just pretending. Of course, Ningxi was pretending. The moment she saw Jia Qingqing, she immediately put in her earphones to act like she couldn't hear. In this kind of situation, regardless of who was right or wrong in a conflict, it wouldn't be in her best interest. It was just easier to pretend she hadn't heard anything. "Miss Jia, you're ready. Are you satisfied with your makeup?" the makeup artist asked cautiously, knowing that Jia Qingqing was not easy to deal with. "Not satisfied. Redo it for me," Jia Qingqing demanded, without specifying what exactly she wasn't satisfied with. The makeup artist's face turned stiff, but she had no choice but to redo the makeup. Jia Qingqing saw that Ningxi was completely ignoring her and tried to pick faults with the makeup artist as if it were her fault. The makeup artist didn't dare to show any dissatisfaction. She could only resentfully glance at Ningxi, who was sitting in the corner. She also understood that Jia Qingqing's grievances were aimed at Ningxi, and she was simply caught in the crossfire. Apart from the male and female leads, who had separate makeup rooms, all the other actors had to share one makeup room. If Jia Qingqing didn't finish her makeup, it meant that Ningxi had to wait. Finally, when Jia Qingqing's manager came in and urged her, Jia Qingqing left the makeup room with reluctance. As she left, she couldn't help but shoot a fierce glare at Ningxi. When it was time for Ningxi's makeup, the makeup artist slammed her equipment on the table and shouted loudly, "Ningxi, come over for your makeup." Ningxi put down her script and walked over, saying, "Thank you." The makeup artist was about to apply makeup to her, but Ningxi suddenly raised her hand to stop her. "What are you doing?" the makeup artist asked. Ningxi politely explained, "Amy, may I use my own makeup products? My skin is quite sensitive, and using other brands might cause an allergic reaction." Amy, the makeup artist, was not pleased with this request. She responded impatiently, "No, there's no such rule. If the makeup doesn't turn out well, are you going to take responsibility? Weren't you fine with it yesterday?" Ningxi discreetly placed a red envelope in Amy's hand. "Amy, please, I beg you to be understanding. We rely on our appearances in this industry, and I'm just being cautious in case of any allergies." Amy pinched the thickness of the red envelope and coughed softly, acting reluctant. "Fine, but if there are any issues with the makeup later, you'll be responsible." "Of course, I won't let you down, Amy." In the entertainment industry, there were no permanent enemies. After receiving the red envelope, Amy's mood improved significantly, and she put more effort into doing Ningxi's makeup. The final result was just as good as yesterday. Once the makeup artist left, Ningxi looked at her costume for the day and took out a large magnet from her bag. She meticulously passed the magnet over her clothes, as if she were conducting a security check. She did the same for her shoes. Fortunately, there were no issues. Ningxi placed the magnet back in her bag and marveled at how unprofessional this was. They should have sewn a small needle inside the clothes to make her uncomfortable or inserted small tacks in the soles of her shoes. Walking wouldn't be a problem, but once she made any big movements, it would be absolutely refreshing. Although Ningxi had been protected from the harsh side of the entertainment industry all this time, she had been working at the bottom of the industry for many years. She had seen it all and wasn't easily fooled by these petty tricks. Even though she couldn't verify the makeup products, she knew that her skin was sensitive to metals. So, most likely, there was something fishy about this makeup. After changing into her costume, the director's appointed dance instructor was already waiting outside. While others were filming their scenes, Ningxi followed the dance instructor to learn the dance movements. Once the other scenes were finished, the director approached to check the results. Ningxi, how are you doing with the dance? I read in your profile that you have some dance experience, so I thought you'd catch on quickly. If it's not working out, we can give you more time. It should be okay, Ningxi replied, not wanting to sound overconfident. The director turned to the dance instructor and asked, "What do you think, Teacher Zhang?" The dance instructor chuckled, "You'll know when you see it later." Alright, let's get started then. Scene 13, The Drunken Dance of the Virtuous Concubine. Characters, the Emperor, the Virtuous Concubine, the Noble Consort, eunuchs, and various maidens from the selection. Recently, a group of young girls had just entered the palace, and the Emperor summoned all his consorts to celebrate with drinks and revelry. The Emperor was completely captivated by the new arrivals, and even the most favored virtuous concubine was ignored. Before the virtuous concubine, the noble consort had been the Emperor's favorite. Seeing that the virtuous concubine was now experiencing a similar fate, the noble consort took great pleasure in her misfortune. She remarked with a smug expression, "In the palace, it's always the new people who laugh, while the old ones cry." She thought her beauty could capture the Emperor's heart forever? I want to see how long she can remain smug. Perhaps because Jia Qingqing, who usually didn't act very well, played the virtuous concubine, she surprisingly performed quite convincingly this time. The director was rather pleased with her performance. Ningxi reclined on a luxurious chair, sipping her wine, surrounded by a noisy and bustling atmosphere. However, she seemed to be in a world of her own. The strong liquor slid down her crimson lips, flowing down her graceful and slender neck, and disappearing into the enticing neckline of her costume. The scene was exceptionally beautiful, captivating the undivided attention of everyone present. The cameraman deliberately zoomed in for a close-up. As the wind sweeps through the rivers and the rain veils the village, the sounds of the four mountains become roaring waves. Ningxi recited the poem in a hazy, drunken state while swaying unsteadily. In the next moment, she threw her wine glass to the ground with a clatter and began to dance erratically. By the soft hearth of the thatched cottage by the stream, I have no reason to leave with my foxy servant. Her slender waist bent gracefully and then sprung back, her ethereal gauzy veil dancing in the wind. Her gaze, filled with allure, captivated everyone. Lying alone in the deserted village without self-pity, I still think of guarding the border fortress for the country. She picked up a wine jug from the table and drank it in one go. Her movements, which left people dazzled, were more like a battle dance on the battlefield than a seductive dance. In an instant, she transformed from a bewitching fairy into a resolute general on the warfront, and her earlier allure was now replaced by a fierce determination. Ningxi's character, the virtuous concubine, was actually a female general named Meng Chang'e. The Meng family had a long history of serving the country, but they were eventually exterminated, leaving her as the sole survivor. She infiltrated the palace not only to avenge her family but also to overthrow the regime. The emperor, not far away, was completely oblivious to the danger. He was lost in the beauty before him, holding his wine glass but not drinking, simply entranced. Seeing the emperor's renewed passion and obsession in his eyes, the noble consort and the other newly favored concubines couldn't help but envy the virtuous concubine. As the night falls, listening to the wind and rain, the iron horses and the ice river invade my dreams. Ningxi recited the last line 3 times, each time with a different emotion, hazy, sorrowful, and finally, resolute. As her words trailed off, she seductively leaned against the emperor, captivating his heart and continuing on her path of revenge. The scene concluded, and the director almost forgot to call for a cut. Cut. Excellent. Director Guo praised, clapping his hands. Ningxi's dance was great, very professional. What's even more impressive is that she conveyed exactly what I wanted throughout the performance. Your expressions were all great. Lao Feng, you don't need to say anything. But what's really rare is Qingqing, your expression was perfect. Jia Qingqing's face turned dark as night. How could it not be perfect? She genuinely felt envy and hatred. The actor playing the emperor, Feng Yiba, was a seasoned performer in the role of the emperor. He had worked with countless beautiful actresses, but he couldn't help but laugh and say, Director Guo, I really was lost in the moment just now. I wasn't acting. I've been saying that the junior sister is very talented. Ning Xuelua, who had been watching, joined in with her praise, even though her teeth were almost ground to dust in frustration. As soon as the performance ended, Ning Xuelua pulled her assistant aside and demanded answers. What's going on? It's past noon, and there's still no reaction. The assistant had a panicked expression. I personally added it to her makeup, and I even put some in the blush, eyeshadow, and highlighter. Could it be that it hasn't taken effect yet? Ning Xuelua glared at her. That's impossible. If she came into contact with those things, she would develop red spots within half an hour. Then, she probably didn't use those makeup products at all, the assistant weakly suggested. You're useless. Didn't you think to prepare something in her clothes as well? Ning Xuelua scolded her. I didn't think of it at the time. Don't be angry, Snow, I promise I won't mess up next time. Ning Xuelua suppressed her anger. This was just an unexpected setback. In the future, there would be plenty of opportunities. Perhaps she wouldn't even need to take action herself. The way Jia Qingqing looked at Ningxi just now, she seemed to want to devour her. Ningxi, did you think this role would be so easy to seize? The higher I raise you, the harder you'll fall. Even though Ningxi had proven her acting skills, her reputation had not been restored. On the contrary, her outstanding performance had led people to believe that she was too seductive. Some even thought it wasn't acting, it was her true self. The director was concerned about her emotional stability and tried to console her before leaving. Ningxi, don't worry. Your male co-star will join the cast next month, and the best is yet to come. Ningxi forced a bitter smile. Director, who is playing my male co-star, anyway? You've been keeping it a secret since the beginning, not even a hint. I can understand not revealing it to the media for publicity purposes, but can't you tell us, at least? I can't tell you. What if you accidentally leak the information? Anyway, I can tell you this much, the male co-star is a big star. Director Guo looked mysterious. Jia Qingqing, who was passing by, overheard this and muttered disdainfully, just a male co-star, what's so big about it? No matter how big, can he be as great as the film emperor, Zhao Xizhou? What do you think, Snow? Ning Xuelua smiled but didn't say anything. It seemed that even she thought the director was exaggerating. Ningxi ignored Jia Qingqing's sarcastic remarks and followed closely behind Director Guo, asking, is he handsome? Can you at least tell me that? In the script, the male co-star is described as a physician so handsome that all the wealthy ladies in the capital fake illnesses to see him. She had several intimate scenes with the male co-star in the drama, not only teasing him but also featuring a few bed scenes. So, it was natural for her to be curious. Of course, he's handsome. I guarantee you'll be satisfied. Just don't get too excited when you see him. Really? Don't lie to me, Director Guo. I might take it seriously. Time passed quickly, and before they knew it, it was already August. Ningxi had been staying at the Lu residence for 2 weeks, and her relationship with Little Treasure was getting better. The progress on the set was still going smoothly. Ning Xuelua and Jia Qingqing formed an alliance, playing pranks on her every now and then. Although she saw through all of them, it was still tiring to be on guard every day. She planned to find an opportune moment to put an end to it once and for all. Oddly enough, she felt like someone on the set might be secretly helping her. Several times when she overlooked something, she received subtle hints. Perhaps someone was displeased with Jia Qingqing's overbearing behavior. Ningxi didn't think much about it. The most troublesome thing for her right now was that she had to go to the airport tonight to pick up an annoying person. Throughout the day on the set, that person had reminded her incessantly with a series of calls. After work, Ningxi made a quick stop at the Lu residence to retrieve her equipment. I'm back. There's a new hot pot restaurant that opened recently. How about taking little treasure there for dinner tonight? Lu Tingxiao sat on the sofa, reading a newspaper. When he saw her return, he casually suggested, sounding as though he was asking his wife for her opinion. Ningxi was taken aback by her own thoughts. It had only been a little over 2 weeks, and she was already so accustomed to interacting with Lu Tingxiao like this. The two of them, together with little treasure, seemed like a real family. Ningxi shook her head to dispel those strange thoughts and hesitated. I'm afraid I can't tonight. I have to go to the airport to pick up someone, and it might be late. Does little treasure want to have hot pot? If not, would you mind taking him? If you're not here, he won't go out with me. Alright, how about we go together next time? Lu Tingxiao put down the newspaper and looked at her, his gaze filled with a hidden meaning. Meeting a friend tonight? Yeah, kind of. This question seemed a bit intrusive. Is it a male or female friend? Well, wasn't this question a bit too personal? Ningxi had indeed noticed Lu Tingxiao's unusual attitude toward her, but he always kept his actions within appropriate boundaries. If she reacted too strongly, it would make her appear presumptuous. So, when Lu Tingxiao asked a question that seemed quite ordinary, she answered it in a normal way, as if it were just a casual question. A guy. Lu Tingxiao's deep eyes narrowed slightly, almost imperceptibly. Will you be back late? This question. Why does it sound more? Ningxi played along, pretending not to notice the ambiguity in the question, and replied casually, I'm not sure yet. I'll call you when I'm on my way back. Time is running out, I have to go now. She expected that there might be unexpected situations tonight, and if she couldn't resist beating up that Jiong guy all night, it was better not to promise an early return. Ningxi hurriedly went upstairs to get a large black shoulder bag and then gave little treasure a quick kiss as she said goodbye. Watching the girl's figure disappear as she rushed away, Lu Tingxiao's face showed a hint of complexity. Little treasure was indifferent to everything in the outside world except for Ningxi, including his own father. At this moment, he saw his father's gloomy expression and, for the first time, lowered his head to scribble something on a piece of paper, then poked his father with his little finger. Feeling the small force on his arm, Lu Tingxiao looked down and saw a question mark written on the piece of paper. Why am I not happy? Lu Tingxiao raised an eyebrow, thought for a moment, and said with a hint of meaning, if one day, your little aunt she becomes someone else's and calls them baby, kisses them good morning and good night, eats hot pot with them, and you're not part of her life at all, so you don't even have the right to question or get angry. Will you be happy? Little treasure was dumbfounded for a moment, and then his expression changed dramatically. Finally, a certain father managed to balance the situation somewhat. Little treasure took his father's phone and showed it to Ningxi. He sent Ningxi a crying emoticon. When Ningxi saw this, she thought little treasure was upset because he couldn't have hot pot and immediately sent a basket of sweet words to console him. Oh, my precious baby, what's wrong? Don't be sad. If you're sad, Aunt she will be sad too. Aunt she really has something to do tonight. Tomorrow night, Aunt she will definitely take you out for hot pot, okay? Moi. Love you for 10,000 years. Aunt she loves your smile the most. Seeing Ningxi's reply, little treasure broke into a smile through his tears and proudly showed his father the message. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the ellipsis Ningxi sent. He had received a powerful blow. 2 hours later, at the B City airport. Although Ningxi had mentally prepared herself before coming, the scene still shocked her. Ah! Jiong. Honey, look over here. Honey, I love you. Honey, I want to give birth to monkeys for you. My, you're the most handsome. Coconut will always support you. My, you're the best. Coconut will always protect you. The majority of the crowd consisted of fangirls, but she also saw quite a few middle-aged female fans and even some male fans. They were all shouting at the top of their lungs, and even with all the security personnel present, the situation was uncontrollable. Ladies, please keep it down. Don't disturb others. Sure. A sexy voice rang out, and the fans fell silent for a moment before bursting into even louder cheers, as if the roof was about to be blown off. Ningxi watched from behind a pillar, her face filled with black lines. That damn Jiong was obviously trying to get her killed. If she appeared at the airport now to pick him up, would she survive the night? Luckily, she had come prepared.